Good evening, everybody. Tonight, I'm just going to talk quickly about one of the biggest pitfalls that plagued me during my last Ironman training, and that is systemic fatigue. Now, most people don't even really know or understand what the concept of systemic fatigue is, and it's extremely critical if you're going to be training for pretty much anything. So basically, what systemic fatigue is, fatigue that builds up in the body from multiple areas of your life that accumulate over the course of 1 to 3 weeks, and your body tends to hold, or at least mine does, an average of those past 3 to 4 weeks of fatigue that you end up carrying forward with you and living with as you move forward. So you're inching forward day by day, and you're carrying the fatigue from those weeks prior. What people don't realize is that this doesn't only relate to your training. So what a lot of people tend to do is they kind of kick themselves because they're not performing how they wish they could, and they're extremely tired, extremely exhausted. Any extra movement, say like on the weekend to like run errands or take care of laundry and just typical maintenance stuff, feels like a complete chore, and like they just don't have the energy to do anything. And what I would challenge you to do is evaluate your whole life in terms of the amount of stress that you're undergoing. So my life, it's pretty straightforward because I tend to live a very simple life. I have my training, I have my career, I have my family, my relationship, and then any extra studying, learning, and whatever else I'm working on in my free time. Now, at any 1 month, any one of those 5 things could be more or less stressful. Specifically when it's time for Ironman training, the training portion of those 5 things tends to be maxed out for pretty much the whole 8 months that I'm ramping up into my race. And what this does is, if I'm going through, say, a period of high career stress and mixed with a lot of social obligations or other stressors that would be related to your family or your relationships, those stresses start to compound and really wear you down, and that'll affect your whole life. That'll affect every area that you're trying to improve or pursue. So what's really important is to notice when you're entering a period of high career or even just high personal life stress. And what you need to do when you're entering these periods is be, 1, very dialed in on your hydration, very dialed in on your nutrition. So these 2 things paired with being very dialed in on your sleep allows your body to recover and flush out some of that fatigue and stress that you're building up. Now, the next level of things that you should do when you're in a period like this, or a high stress period in general, is really evaluate how your body is recovering from your training sessions, and try to build your week around managing your training load to a point where you're still minimally fatigued and in a functional or productive level of stress and fatigue on your body. And what that will look like is, instead of maybe working out 6 days a week, you might be working out 5 days a week, so that you can have 2 rest days in the week where you can completely physically heal and really manage that physical fatigue from training. The next thing that you could do is start doing more mindfulness type practices that will relieve stress, like journaling or meditating. Now, these 2, specifically the meditating, have so many benefits just on your brain, but what a lot of people don't realize is being able to bring yourself to a state of calm transitions perfectly into your physical training, especially when you're talking about endurance sports, where the main goal, if you're in a zone 2 effort, is to keep your heart rate and your breathing under control so that you can do it for the longest period of time possible. And the real trick is when you can do that at a high level of effort, still keeping that heart rate and still keeping that breathing under control. So not only will meditating bring down your overall systemic fatigue level, but it'll also help you adapt better to the training stresses that your body is undergoing. So this is a topic that I really wanted to share tonight because I am very mindful of when my body is entering a high fatigue state and when I'm operating right at that critical spot where my body's able to flush out fatigue at pretty much the same rate that I'm building up training stress. And that's the point where I want to stay so that I can continually grow and adapt to my training. So that's it for today's video. If you liked what you if you liked what you heard, please like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments.